Hello friends, JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan, and today we're going to talk about the big trap. Ready? It's called restaurants. How to eat healthy at a restaurant. If I had a penny for every single time one of our clients asked me, JT, I'm going to a restaurant, how do I avoid all the traps? I would be a gazillionaire. It is a question that I probably get on a daily basis because restaurants are not just places where we go eat, but actually places where we let out a lot of steam. If you're working, if it's been a busy, stressful week, we have a tendency to want to go out and be social around food. And so how do we do that if we're trying to stick to a healthy nutrition plan? The idea here is that restaurants, my friend, are in the business of bringing you back. So they add crack to their food in the form of all the different fats and salt and sugar and all the things that you probably should be avoiding if you're trying to lose weight and decrease body fat percentages. And so, of course, the restaurant business is a crafty business in the way of getting you trapped, right? The entire environment is set up in a way where when you walk, you are overstimulated, right? They do this very intentionally. After this video, I promise you, you will not see restaurants the same. And so please hang with me. And I want to start off by saying that when you walk through the doors of a restaurant, everything in that environment has been set up to make you hungry. That is right. From the minute you walk in, all of your sensory is overwhelmed. Number one, the visuals are perfect. They make sure that the colors in that restaurant are very specific, and they've studied all the different reactions that we have to colors, right? And so they understand that pastel colors don't make us hungry. So there's vibrant colors in there, right? They have colorful plants, and then they have a background wall that's maybe black, and then over here they have some red, which makes us really, really hungry, and blue, which actually increases trust. And so all the environment has been set up to trap you. Your auditory, when you walk in, right, there's pleasant music, there's sort of lounging music that helps you relax and feel cool, and you're picking up on the ambience and the environment. And all these things are set up very intentionally to make you calm and to make you trust them, right? Your olfactory, your smell is overwhelmed by the food that's coming from the kitchen. Actually, some restaurants, the ones that are really, really smart, actually have scents that come through at the entrance door that either smell like delicious steak or chicken. Sometimes it's not even coming from the kitchen. Sometimes they intentionally put that in through the vents to get you, right, to be super hungry. The other thing that is interesting is that they drop the temperature. They make the temperature really, really low because when we are in a colder environment, we pay more attention. And so it's ice and cold in there. Generally, restaurants keep their AC at 67 degrees. It makes it really, really cold in there because being cold actually brings you to attention. And so they want your attention, right? They're very intentional. Their waiters know exactly what they're doing, what they're saying, right? It's interesting to see the hostess, right? The hostess is usually the prettiest one in the restaurant because that's the first encounter you have, right? So they want it to be a very good encounter. They want you to be receptive to that hostess. She's nice. She comes in, she says, hi, how are you guys doing? Table for how many? And she's very pleasant, and she walks you to the table and she welcomes you. And the first thing she does, right? First thing she does is she hands you 2 menus. Menu number 1, here's the menu, right? Here's the food. Here's the drink menu, right? So you get the drink menu last. Interesting, the sequence of that, the food and then the drinks. You would think, well, yeah, I come here for food and secondary for drinks. But what happens is the last thing you're handed is the last thing you think about. They want you to drink, right? The minute you bring alcohol into your body, your inhibitions go out the window. And so if you can drink, not only can the bill go up, but your inhibitions will go down, your self-control and discipline will be set aside. You're going to do some things that you generally wouldn't do if you weren't drinking. And so that's very intentional. They talk to you about the specials, right? As soon as that waiter or waitress comes out, the first thing they say is they say, hey, welcome. Can I get you guys anything to drink? They're really getting you to act on that last cue that they gave you, that drink menu, right? They're looking for you to drink some wine, cocktails, right? Get the ambiance, get the feeling going. But then they say, let me talk to you about the specials, right? And so they go on and they tell you all these delicious meals that they have for the special. But in those specials, the word special has a specific reaction to, we have a specific reaction to the word special. We think of reward, right? Humans, we like to be rewarded. So the minute we hear special, right, we set aside what's on the menu and we listen, because this must be better than anything else they have to offer. So now they have our attention and they take us through all of these different amazing foods. And of course, the specials are usually more expensive, but they have a combination of lobster and steak and all these different delicious things. And they use all of these very fancy names to really elevate what it is they're offering you, right? So the special is very intentional because it brings in us that idea of reward, right? And we get fixated most of the time when the waiter or waitress tells you about the special, you go for it because it's the power of suggestion, right? So now you have an entire menu where you have to make a choice, right? You have to put some energy into figuring out what you want to do. But when the actual waiter or waitress says, hey, here's the special, and they use the power of suggestion, most of the time we tend to go for the special, right? That's really interesting. Some of the factors and the things that I want you to see here on how they influence you. Then, of course, they bring in the bait, right? The first thing that comes on the table is they bring waters and they bring bread. And that bread isn't just whole wheat bread. That is white bread. Maybe they have some oil over it, some cheese. They make that bread taste really good, because guess what? The minute you eat that bread, your insulin spikes and you get super hungry. They give you water so you can down that stuff really quickly and eat some more bread, spike some more insulin, and make you very hungry so that you're ordering more from the menu. For them, it's all about money, right? They need to make sure that every single table is spending as much money as possible, because this is how they keep lights on, right? This is not that they're wicked. They're just in business to make money. So they figured all the ways to make things super appealing, to make things super easy, so that you can spend the most money possible in the restaurant. And so then you're sitting there and you're eating the bread and you're having a good time, and there's the ambiance and the smell and the visuals and the music, and all these things are playing and stimulating your environment. And then all of a sudden, you look up and you see the kitchen, and you can actually see the chef putting together the meal. Sometimes they even have a window, right? And what they're trying to do there is not that they just, let me just put a window here so that the chef can look in and not be bored while he's cooking. No, they're very intentional about that as well. What that's doing is that's creating a trust factor within you, because now you're seeing your meals prepared, right? And so once again, it's all about the trust. They're building that trust with you. So now you're seeing the visuals, you're seeing the chef doing what he's doing. You're stimulated by that. You have some trust there. You see what's actually happening behind the scenes, and that's important. And so how do we battle this urge when we're bombarded by all our sensory acuity, right? Our visuals, our auditory, our olfactory, everything is overwhelmed. How do we go in there and actually stick to whatever nutrition plan we're looking to stick? It's a great question, and I'm going to give you 7 points that I believe will minimize the impact of restaurant eating. Remember, if you're on a plan, you're going to be at least 30% off of that plan, regardless of what you choose, because they put butter and sugar and condiments and all the things that you possibly shouldn't be eating if you're looking to decrease body fat percentages and lose unwanted weight. So the number one thing I would say is turn away the bread before it even comes on the table. Tell the waiter, say, hey, we don't want the bread. Now, if you're with someone else and they're not on your plan, I get it. It's hard to do that. But if you can control your environment and simply push away the bread, that, my friend, will be your first greatest step inside of a restaurant. So turn away the bread, get some water, sip on some water, enjoy the environment, but don't touch the bread, because once you spike insulin through bread, which spikes a ton of insulin, you're going to be trapped, right? Number 2, don't look at the menu. Go in there with a plan. The day before, if you know you're going to this restaurant, be proactive, go online, check out the menu, and make up your mind before you get overwhelmed by all this stuff, right? Go online and see what you want to pick, and whatever plan you are on, you want to make sure that you choose things that stay as close as possible to that plan. So the safest thing to do is simply to get 2 sides of veggies. Every single restaurant, regardless of where you are, has sides of vegetables. So they're going to give you either starch and a veggie, right? This is usually what they say. Would you like the mashed potatoes, or would you like the fries? Turn that stuff away and simply say, can I get 2 sides of vegetables? Usually nicer restaurants have asparagus, broccoli, but most restaurants have some kind of salad, right? The worst thing I've seen, or the least of the options is coleslaw, right? I can't even pronounce it correctly, but you know what I'm talking about, right? It's that funny looking little salad that most people, sometimes even you see like at fairs and stuff like that. I say that that's the cheapest form of veggies that you can have, because you want a green leafy veggie like broccoli, asparagus, maybe green beans, something of that nature, maybe kale if they have a little kale salad, right? Or you can just get a house salad. House salad is probably the healthiest thing in the entire restaurant. Tell them to put the dressing aside. You're dipping as you go. Don't drench your salad with all that dressing because you're gonna bump up your calories significantly. So just get a side salad, a house salad, dip as you go, and that's a way to go. Your proteins, you wanna make sure they're grilled, baked, or steamed, okay? Grilled, baked, or steamed, and then you wanna be picky. Don't worry about being picky. There's two words that waiters are highly alert with, especially here in the United States. The word allergic and the word sensitive. If you say you are sensitive to sodium, you're not lying. You're simply being honest. Most of us are very sensitive to sodium because we automatically retain a ton of water. And the problem with sodium is not so much the water retention, but actually that it makes us crave sugar. So if you're avoiding sugar, but you're keeping the salt in there, the salt is going to remind you of the sugar, and the sugar is going to remind you of the salt. So we want to put those aside. So just ask the waiter to not add any extra condiments or salt to your proteins because you're sensitive. What's going to happen is that waiter, that waitress is going to go to the back and say to the chef, the cook, there's someone who's sensitive to sodium. Please don't add extra condiments. By the way, the proteins that you eat at a restaurant are already pre-packaged, already pre-condimented. That is right. They come in these little Ziploc bags with all the condiments in it so that when you order your food, you put that order in, the chef takes it out of that already condimented little bag, and then they bake, steam, or grill your food. On top of that, when it comes out, they add a little bit more to it. So that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid the chef actually adding some more salt, some more condiments to your protein. So these are things you want to be super proactive. Waiters and waitresses are very used to being dealing or working with people that are asking for all these different requirements. Some people are allergic, some people are sensitive to certain things. And so you're not going to tick them off because they're used to this. This is what they do on a daily basis, right? So we want to make sure we're avoiding condiments. Once you get done with that meal, that choice that you made, that healthy choice where you had a salad, you had some side veggies, and you had your proteins grilled, baked, or steamed, and you're done with that meal, you may still feel a little bit of desire for dessert, right? Because that's what comes next. That waiter comes out and says, hey, would you guys like to see the dessert menu? And sure enough, most people are like, sure, let's see it. Even if you're super full. It's interesting how you can get full with all your macronutrients, right? Your proteins, your carbs, your fats, and you're full, you're stuffed. But the minute they say, like to see the dessert menu, all of a sudden you say, yes, you can build some space for that, right? So they bring out that dessert menu and you start going through it and you're like, oh, wow, creme brulee and cheesecake and, all these different ice cream and all these different things and chocolate. And sometimes here's how you justify it. You'll look at the person you're with and you'll say, would you like to split this dessert, right? Would you like to split those calories? And most people say, oh, sure, and then now you're indulging in some extra calories. Don't do that to yourself. All you need to do is, would you like to see the dessert menu? No, thank you. Can I please get a coffee or can I get some tea? Here's the trick with coffee or tea. Caffeine actually helps subside cravings. That's right. It's a huge hack. Order some coffee, get some tea, and you're going to see that those cravings are going to subside. If you still have some desire for cake or some of those things, give it some time. Give it at least 5 minutes. I promise that if you sip on that coffee and you wait, those cravings will subside and you will stay away from all the desserts that will get you in trouble. My friend, that was a lot, but this is the truth about restaurants. Be careful. They will trap you. Hopefully you got something out of this video, my friend. I hope you put it into action next time you go to a restaurant. My name is JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan, and these are the things I enjoy speaking about, things that edify the mind, the body, and the spirit. If we're not family yet, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button so that we can send this out to more people, because most people are challenged with this whole restaurant idea, and I believe this video will bring a solution to that. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you're going to absolutely love this video here. Check it out. JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.